Hi guys, and today with the championship season starting on Friday, I'm going to give to you my championship predictions for the season. So let's get started. 24th, I've got QPR. The reason why is because, of course, they were very lucky to go up last season. They went on a horrendous run. I don't rate Gary Vaynerchuk as a manager at this level. He's a brilliant bloke, but I just don't rate him as a manager at this level. I haven't been particularly impressed by the signing dealer, and I think all that put together means that they will get relegated. They went on a horrible run last season, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Aintree is the first man to be sacked. So yeah, 23rd I put Rotherham. Last season they did brilliant to stay up. I can't take that away from them. In the transfer market, they've lost a few key players. Benny Holden, who both went Richard Wood, and I would say their squad is probably worse than what it was last season, and I think the league is going to be stronger, and I think it only would be that little of a drop off, and I think that could lead Rotherham. But of course, it's hard for Rotherham at this level. They're picking the players nobody wants and stuff like that. And that they got lucky at where we're pointed up and stuff. What I don't think they'll get this year, but they were brilliant to steal last season. But I think this year will be year too much for them to it. 22nd, I put Sheffield Wednesday. The reason why because I was buzzing to see Sheffield Wednesday get promoted back to the Championship, but then what's happened over the summer has just been absolute suicidal. Really. First they sacked Darren Moore, what I don't understand it. Then their transfers have just been, and then replaced with that Isco, who, to be fair, I know he got Roth promoted, but overall I don't really rate him. And then the transfer business has been slow. Obviously it's just about started, but if you look at the players, I'm not particularly impressed. The squad thing, and I would argue their squad is even worse than what it was in League One. But that's not a good. Sheffield Wednesday is one of them things where if you ask me to do this at the end of the transfer window, I might have them halfway up the league. But right now, I think I got relegated. So yeah. 21st, and still up, I put Plymouth Argyle. The reason why, because I really like what they've done in the transfer window. They've got players back who they know it in Whitaker and Mumba for things that they haven't brought the bank. And they've used the loan market really well. And I think the momentum of what's happened last season and stuff will be enough. And the club's on the upward trajectory on keeping the club in the Championship. So yes, I think they'll have a good season, and I think if Plymouth stay up, it's a brilliant season for them. So yeah. 20th, I put Huddersfield. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't been impressed by the signing. I think they've only signed two. Maxwell, the goalkeeper that got relegated with Blackpool last season, and Tom Edwards, who hasn't played in the Championship for I think 3 years. Yeah, they had a brilliant end to the season, and Warnock had absolute miracles to get them to stay up. And if it weren't for Warnock, I probably would have had them in my bottom three. But Warnock is the difference for me. I think he's straight wide. He knows how to get behind the survival job, and I think he'll keep them in the Championship, even with just by the skin of his teeth. So yeah. 19th, I put Cardiff. I think Cardiff fans are getting a bit overexcited with like the signing of Aaron Ramsey. It's good, but and whatever, but they'll have to be careful with him. And they've appointed a manager that, to be fair, I don't even know it, and you don't know how he's going to adapt to English football. To be fair to them, they've tried to address the lack of goals. We're getting Grant, who obviously came off a really bad season, and Macy from Revenue obviously got relegated. But I think for Cardiff, the main aim has got to be stay in this division. And I think they will, and I think they'll make a slight improvement from 21st to 19th this season. Well, they've got, what if Reading at the points doesn't, they were relegated, if you get what I mean, and they can't get any worse, because the last 3 or 4 seasons they've got worse. If they get worse again, they're relegated, if you get what I mean. But this season, I think they'll have enough to stay up and get a little bit better. What I don't think you can ask for Cardiff fans to, yeah. 18th up Preston. The reason why I think the Wills drop down the table a little bit with the Championship getting more competitive. I look at their squad and think they don't have, after losing Cannon, they don't have a goal scorer. They might get Cannon back, mind you, I'm hoping they're not, because Sunderland's after him, and I would quite like him at Sunderland. But they're lacking the goal scorer, and the options they've got up front, a very like both of them thing out long term. If you get I mean, I think this is the lowest they will drop. I think they will have enough to comfortably avoid a relegation battle, but I do think they will slip down the table a bit and finish eating. So yeah, 17. I put Hull. First of all, it's getting. I mean, this part of the table and up is getting hard. I knew me bottom six, but barring that, yeah. Hull, I think, haven't really made any signings of any real note. I know they signed Binger Greer, they signed Delap, who, to be fair, I'm not really convinced by. But yeah, I think they'll have another alright season. Not going up, not going down, but yeah, really. 16 up at Bristol City. I do like some of the recruitment they've done this summer with the likes of Dickey and Knight from Derby and QPR. They're probably going to lose Alex Scott, but it'll be interesting to see how they do that. For me, I just look at Bristol City as a club who I think have got a decent championship squad, solid, all that, unspectacular, and stuff like that. Barring Alex Scott, obviously, but I just look at it and just think it's not the best. Do you get what I mean? And that is why I've got them 16th. They've got a decent squad, but that's it really. I don't look at them going up or going down. So yeah, 15th I put Ipswich. I really like Kane McKenna, and I'm really interested to see how they play against us on the opening day. To be honest with you, and I think they will have a solid first season back in the championship. Not really the aim should just be to finish mid table, to like singing like just survive, but I think it's just be able to do more than that, get comfortable mid-table finish. Jack Taylor, who they signed from Peterborough, is a really good signing, and they signed that Hudson from Chelsea, who I think is good, and I think McKenna will guide them to a good, solid first season back, and then next season they can maybe kick on for the playoffs and stuff like that. So yeah, 14th I put Birmingham. I really like Birmingham's recruitment in the summer. They've signed Sanderson permanently, Billick permanently, they've signed Roberts, they've signed the Japan lad, they've signed Jadiq Zambelli, they've signed Ethan Laird, on the Chafee, they've ripped Man United off for them. And for that, and I think they will have a better, and on John Easton, who I do like, I think they will have a better season and climb up the table. I don't think it'll be enough. I think they're still missing a few players to like really start a promotion like a chance and try getting the playoffs. But I think they'll have a really decent season and a really decent where they'll like improve, and that's all you can ask for. So yeah. 13th, I put Blackburn Rovers. The reason why is because they've lost Brentford and Diaz, and I still look at that squad and thinking that they lack a goal scorer, if you get with me. And it seems like they've got to sell before they buy and whatever. I don't really rate Thompson as a manager. And yeah, I've struggled to where the goals are going to come. The star signings are apparently out injured for the start of the season. So yes, I can't see them doing any better than what they did last year. And I saw someone predicting the things they're aiming from that. Well, I think it's a bit dramatic, but I just think they'll fall to mid-table and yeah, so yeah. 12, I put Watford. The reason why, because I look at their squad actually, and I'm not really too impressed. And when I'm facing them, I'm definitely not scared of that squad. If you get, I mean, they've tried to clear out what was the right thing to do, and I wait to see where the goals are going to come from, where the likes of Saw, Davies, Jal Pedro, who are presenting their goals all on at Watford anymore. And it'll be interesting to see how long Ismail lasts. Let's be honest, he probably won't last long, especially if I've got them in the position. But yeah, I just uninspired. Apparently, they might be signing Morelos, but I would be seeing well clear of him. His attitude's bad, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I think it'll be another disappointing season for Watford, unfortunately, and they'll finish slap bang in the middle. So yeah. 11th, I put Swansea City. The reason why is because I do like the appointment of Duff. I think it's a good appointment after Russell Martin left, and it'll be interesting. And I think it'll take a bit of time to like see how like they do. I do like the signings, and they're being very like decent, and I think it'll be mid-table figures. It might take a while for those like days, but eventually I think they will, and they'll get solid figures. I think there's goals in that team. Jerry Yates is a brilliant signing, and yeah, I think they'll have a decent season. So yeah. 10th, I put West Brom. The reason why is because they've obviously got Davos here, and they're barely like main transfers. Although apparently signing Josh Madsen, what's very good. What if you can get the best out of them? That's very good. And yeah, I just think it'll be another disappointing season for West Brom when they miss out on the playoffs. So yeah. 9th, I put Stoke City. The reason why, because I really like what Alex Neil has done there, as much as I hate the guy for leaving Sunderland. He signed Penn Pearson, he signed Wesley, he signed Mark Travis, and I think this season is where they will have a really good outside shot of making the top 6, and I won't be surprised if they did. I've just got them missing out what it'll be a step in the right direction. So yeah. If I put Norwich, the reason why is because I think the signings that they've made are very good, solid Championship players, and I think they'll improve. And there's another one who's undergone a bit of a rebuild. I think they'll miss out on the playoff because I'm not sure on the manager. I'm not convinced David Wagner, but yeah, I think it'll be an improvement. But yeah, and they've got an outside chance, but I don't think they'll make it. So yeah. 7th and just missing out at Coventry. The reason why is because they've lost Victor Grottinghaz, who was absolutely brilliant, the best striker in the league for me, and they've replaced him with Alex Sims, who I watched in the first half season. He's not as good as Grottinghaz, but he'll do a job. They've made some decent signings, and I think Mark Robin, will have enough. We'll have them in and around their game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck in, but I think they'll just miss out. Gustavo Hamer could be going as well, but be a massive blow. But yeah, if there's any man that I trust in this league to be solid and be around there, it's Mark Roberts. I think he's a brilliant man there, and I think yeah, he'll have them in and around the playoffs again. So yeah. 6th, I put my boys Sunderland. I think yes, we lost Amad Diallo, but it's obviously cruel. I mean, not cruel. It's obviously a massive blow losing him at the expiration of his loan. But I do like what we've done. But people need to realise that we had a lot of players out injured, and we were still cohesive. And I think the core of the squad who were there was still there, and we should get more games out the likes of Ballard this year. Elise, I know he's out injured at the start. If Ross Stewart stays again, I know he's out injured for the start, but he should play more than 13 games. I like what we're doing in the transfer window. Hermea, the striker, is going to be like a big player for us, and I think he'll do really well. He'll surprise a few this season, I think, and yeah, I think we'll have enough to make the playoffs. And we're not doing the transfer window. We need another goalkeeper. I think we need a midfielder and we need another striker, but we'll see. But I think we'll make the playoffs again. Back-to-back seasons, and yeah, really. 5th, I put Millwall. I think this is the season they finally made the top 6. How they did last season, I will never know. A 45 minutes collapse on the last day against Blackburn is the reason why. They've added Joe Bryan, they've added Wes Holden, they've added Kevin Nisbet, players who are really good players, and I think will do well this level. They've still got Fleming, who was a key, and I think yeah, they will make the playoffs this year, and it's about time they make the playoffs. They're the team who's been squirting around them. You always look like they're going to get in, and they've just missed out. But this year, I think it's finally the season to make the playoffs. So yeah. 4th, I put Leeds United. The reason why is because defensively, I'm going to be honest, I'm not too certain. I think they need some defenders. But going forward, if they can keep their players, Somerville, Grant, or I think Bamford will do well at this level, Sinisterra, they're really good going forward, and they'll be just fine. I like the signing of Ethan Ampadu. I think he'll do really well. Cardallo's a solid goalkeeper at this level, and yeah, I think they'll do really well, make the playoffs, and yeah. 3rd, I put Middlesbrough. The reason why is because I really like Michael Carrick as a manager. I think he'll do well. I like the signs he has made. Yes, losing Giles and Archer are 2 big losses, but I think they'll sign some players and they'll make the playoffs. So yeah. and just miss out on that promotion. Second, I put Southampton. The reason why, because I've looked at their squad, and that squad is not a Championship squad, it's a Premier League squad. And as they were terrible last season, but the players who were terrible in the Premier League would like to think would be good in the Premier League. They've added to Ryan Mangan, who was the best left back in the league last season, will do really well for them. I'm sure they'll add a few more. And if they can keep players like Ward-Prowse, Lavia, stuff like that, Walker Peters, Livramento, I see no reason why they can't bounce back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. So yeah. Then first I put Leicester. I think they'll bounce back to the Premier League at the first time of asking as well. How that squad got relegated, I will never know. I know they've lost Barnes and Madison, and they'll probably lose a few more, but still that squad in the Championship should win the league. If you look at the signings they've made, Connor Cody, Harry Winks, Callum Doyle, I think all top Championship players, Winks and Cody are playing in the Premier League for years, and I say no reason why they'll not bounce back. I'm surprised they got relegated, and I think they'll bounce back at the first attempt. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your predictions, and again, don't hit this seriously. It's just my prediction. I'm probably will come back at it in May, and we'll all be laughing at how bad I've done probably. So yeah, so that's the end of the video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, view, comment, and see. Yeah.